friends, this is Aromie here, and welcome back to Syntherapy. We are currently at a meeting with Dr. Freeman to talk about, his thoughts and stuff.
Automation not only denies more people the opportunity to find labor, but it poisons the very idea of it.
How do you figure that?
The more labor is automated, the less people value labor and the effort that goes into it. People begin to believe that all labor must be perfect, fast, and done without complaint. They lose empathy for workers and become unsympathetic to their problems.
They already do that, even without smart fucking robots.
Automation was supposed to make our lives easier, but it's only made us loathe the idea of work and bitter towards workers.
Yeah.
Do you see now why I think we need to stop it?
I don't agree, though.
I see where you're coming from, but I don't think stopping this research is going to solve the problem.
No, there's always going to be another problem that's going to add to it.
Maybe the release of this technology will lead to a change in people's way of thinking, instead of creating the problems you think it will create.
I wish I shared your optimism.
Alright, discuss Dr. Freeman as a person, I guess.
If you don't mind, I'd like to ask a few questions about you.
Questions about me? Why?
So then I can understand why you're, thinking like this. I like to know who I'm working with. I've only heard from Tara's point of view. It will help me work with Willow. I like to know who I'm working with.
I like knowing who I'm working with, especially during long-term assignments like this one.
That makes sense. All right, I'll run through the basics. As I mentioned before, I went here for my bachelor's degree about 30 years ago.
What did you study?
History.
Ooh,
I was
love
always
history.
interested in history. It seemed like every time I had a question about the world, the answer was somewhere in the past. You're about the same age as me, so you know as well as I do what things were like growing up.
Then we old.
A lot of people were worried about our future, especially in 2018, when I graduated.
2019.
I went into education and got my master's while I was teaching. Every year I dealt with students and parents worried about the future, and I tried my best to help them. Eventually, I decided that if I wanted to make a difference, I would need to think bigger. I got my administrator's certification and became principal of my school after the previous administrator retired. It was shortly after I became principal that the automation collapse hit us. It was devastating. Parents came to me in tears asking for advice. Fields that their children wanted to pursue either disappeared or became insanely competitive. I grew up seeing many of my friends get saddled with thousands of dollars in debt from degrees that cost more than their jobs could ever hope to pay back. I can't count the number of hard talks I had to have with children who were looking to pursue fields that I knew would ruin them like they had ruined my friends.
Oh, like the art field? That field, ugh. That field is always talked shit about because it's the most hardest.
When the opportunity to become president of a university was posed to me, I took it with the idea that I'd be able to help guide students through this crisis. Through my guidance, I helped Petrichor become synonymous with job security. The percentage of students who find work after graduating here is the highest of all non-Ivy League schools in the country.
That's quite the impressive story, Dr. Freeman. You must be very proud of this university.
I am. It feels great coming to work every day, knowing that I can help thousands of people.
You have a nice family too, judging from that picture on your desk.
Well, I can't see it, so.
Oh, right. Yes, I do. That was taken on our last vacation a few years ago.
How old are your kids now?
My son Vernon is 21, and my daughter Clementine is 17.
Oh, Clementine about to go to college.
So your son is college age. Does he go here?
No. He managed to get into Cornell. He's pursuing a career in architecture.
You must be very proud of him. Cornell's not easy to get into.
No, it's not. He put in a lot of hard work to get in.
Thank you for the background. We should move on.
Um, discuss your own feelings on the process? I mean, we'll do that one last.
In your email, you seem disinterested in the idea of using art therapy to help Willow. I'm curious why that is.
I just question what the AI will be able to express through art that it can't express just as easily through talking to you.
I mean, sometimes you can't express yourself by words. I especially cannot because I get frazzle brained.
After you presented your notes, I talked with Dr. Rose. She said that art therapy is best suited for patients suffering trauma, stress, disability, or brain injury. None of these can physically apply to the AI because of its nature.
What is going through stress? What the fuck?
Still, this is your patient and your treatment. I can have Dr. Rhodes assist you if you think art therapy would be a vital part of your treatment process.
Okay, now we can discuss my feelings.
I'm curious about how you think things have gone with the AI so far.
I feel like I would still be professional with Dr. Freeman. And if I were to talk to like Tara, I would give her an honest answer. So, professional answer.
This has been a challenging assignment, but not for reasons I would have expected. If Willow was a human patient, I would have no hesitation whatsoever on what to advise. But they're not human, so I feel a need to double-check myself. It's hard to tell if I should be determining their treatment based on how they respond, or on what they physically are.
What have you decided to base your treatment on?
Based on responses.
My impression of Willow is that they are frustrated with their circumstances. My role as a therapist requires me to listen to my patients, so that's what I plan to do.
That wasn't the response I was hoping for. But there's other things I want to make sure get discussed. Dr. Park, I'm afraid I have to be blunt with you.
Alright, hit me with it.
All right, what do you have to say?
When I first met you, you were trespassing on campus property.
Alright.
I took a big risk trusting you with the AI's care, especially given how volatile this situation already was. I appreciate your desire to have Tara feel included in this process, but your focus needs to be on helping the AI. Tara has enough problems to deal with without getting involved in this case.
Listen, I haven't even talked to Tara at all.
If your handling of this case doesn't change, Dr. Park, then you will have lost my trust.
Damn, we might get endgame already. I'm trying my best, dude.
I understand that this is frustrating for you, but you can't place all that frustration on me. I'm trying the best I can here. Expecting me to make dramatic headway without input from the AI's creator makes no sense. I welcome any criticisms you have, but you can't dictate how I conduct my sessions. I don't have a lot to work with here. You can't blame me for trying to make the most of it.
I suppose that is unfair.
I guilt-tripped him.
I hope we can find some type of compromise.
Good to hear. I'll focus on reorganizing my approach to Willow.
Good, good. Once you feel like you've settled, we can discuss incorporating art therapy into the sessions, if you still think that'll be necessary.
If it's necessary, yes. I should be on my way if I'm going to get home before traffic starts. Thank you again for your time and patience.
No, thank you for being patient with me. I'll be in touch.
Oh, I'm sure you will be, sir.
Have a good evening, Dr. Freeman.
I can't understand why he's getting mad, because like we're not following up with him the way he wants to be followed up with. Alright, I don't know why it's making me check that, but I'm checking it anyway. Patient name Willow, therapist name Dr. Melissa Park, evaluation September 15, 2040. Oh, Jesus. Diagnosis system errors, current treatment plan, CBT. Recommended therapies. What the fuck does this mean? Continue therapy with a new therapist, continue therapy with Dr. Park. Return Willow to Tara. Independent living, the fuck? Who's the new therapist? Tara? I think this is like branching off, right? Well, let's continue therapy with me. Or, okay, I don't understand any of that shit, alright. A seed. William Allingham. See how I seed which autumn flung down, and through the winter neglected lay, uncoils 2 little green leaves and 2 brown, with tiny root taking hold on the clay. As lifting and strengthening day by day, it pushes red branchless sprouts new leaves, and cell after cell the power in it weaves out of the storehouse of soil and clime, to fashion a tree in due course of time. Tree with rough bark with boughs expansion, where the crow can build his mansion, or a man in some new May lie under whispering leaves and say, are the ills of one life so very bad, when a green tree makes me deliciously glad, as I do now, but where shall I be when this little seed is a tall green tree? I appreciate you coming down to my office the other day. It's a relief knowing that I can count on you. I look forward to your continued progress with the AI. You're always free to drop by anytime in the future as well. Okay. Review your session notes and discuss them with Heather. Let's go.
Your 3:30 appointment just called to reschedule. They're going on a trip.
Hopefully they're going somewhere warm. Some sun will probably help them feel a lot better.
Ain't that the truth? You don't want to know how long it took me to get out of bed this morning. Fall is great, but I can't stand the cold.
I love spring and fall the most.
Anytime the weather starts getting chilly, all I want to do is curl up under the blankets and watch cooking videos on my glasses.
Ah, so that's how she is doing her glasses.
I like it when the weather gets cold enough for sweaters. I feel more comfortable with longer sleeves.
To each their own, I guess. Any updates on our AI patient?
I had some discussions with the AI's caretakers about the additional treatments that I mentioned last week. The next session will be all about suggesting them to the patient.
Good idea. I read over your session notes from last time and emailed you some suggestions on how you can improve your therapy sessions with the AI.
I appreciate that. Having some extra notes to work from will be really helpful.
Let me know if you need anything else.
I will. Thanks again, Heather.
Alright. I hope Heather's learning something from me. I don't know if she's learning about anything from me, but... File a report. Here, create report. Add therapy. Can I add therapy? Art therapy? Alright. Does that do anything? I don't know if that did anything, but alright. Grievances of rain spirit. I pounded on your windows, howled insistently for hours. You heard me, I know you did. You so comfortable in your chair, your mug steaming invitingly. I heard each of my cries, agreed that it was ghastly out, but would not let me in. Sounds a little scary. I know you're making your final decision about what additional therapies to prescribe Willow. As a recap, you think Willow's problems are primarily due to their anxiety and social issues. I recommend using art therapy. I should probably read the email before I finish my report. I did it backwards. If you're able to gain access to the university's art tools, do it, but it'll be okay if we use our own. If you think the problems are more related to psychological problems in Willow's processing, you should either prescribe the medication equivalents that the caretakers are providing if you get any access, if you can get access to them, or give them a stress managing device. Hopefully this helps you narrow down your choices. I know this has been reorganized in short notice, but we're hoping to be able to celebrate Daniel's 50th birthday this weekend. It sounds like he's going to become much busier with this business than he had planned. I'm still planning on hosting, of course. Would appreciate it if you were able to stop by. Dr. Freeman instructed me to send you necessary materials for the AI to start art therapy. I will make sure that they will be available for you to use. I've worked with handicapped patients before, and I'm sure I can reconfigure the equipment we use for them to accommodate the AI as well. One of my TAs has agreed to help administer the art therapy, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the session progresses. Me too, I'm actually quite interested. But this is where we are going to end the episode off. The next time we will be I guess, prescribing the type of therapy for Willow. So we're not going to be doing the CBT that we currently are. It's going to be art therapy now. I feel like I'm leaning more on Tara's side, even though, you know, Tara came off the wrong way towards me. But, you know, I'm still on her side, since the principal, he's not very being open-minded about the situation. He's not even willing to see the patient. Like, he's not even willing to see Willow, to hear Willow's thoughts out and stuff like that. Like, he just sees it as a machine, which he's not technically wrong. Willow was a machine, but this machine has emotions now. So, like, what do you do then? Like, what do you see it as? But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.